Hello and welcome to the Deep Sleep Discoveries channel. Tonight, there's nowhere you need to go and nothing you need to solve. You can let the day loosen its grip as we step gently beneath a canopy of leaves. Just before we begin, if you enjoy these calm and curious science explorations, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps others find their way here too. Forests are ancient companions to human life, shaping our air, our water, and even our sense of calm. In this quiet space, we'll drift through 100 gentle truths about forests, slowly, patiently, and without effort. For now, allow your breathing to soften, your shoulders to lower, and your thoughts to settle like leaves at dusk. Beneath the forest floor lies a world as complex as the one above it. Long before roots reach deep into soil, they meet threads of fungi called mycelium, microscopic filaments that weave through earth, stone, and decaying leaves. These fungi form partnerships with trees, attaching to their roots and extending their reach far beyond what roots alone could manage. Through this shared network, trees gain access to water and nutrients, especially phosphorus and nitrogen, while fungi receive sugars produced through photosynthesis. This relationship is so widespread that nearly all forest plants depend on it to survive. Scientists have discovered that these networks can also move chemical signals between trees. When one tree is stressed by drought, insects, or damage, subtle signals can travel through the fungal web, prompting neighboring trees to adjust their defenses. Older, well-established trees sometimes pass resources to younger seedlings, especially those growing in shade. What looks like a quiet stand of trees is, in reality, a living exchange system beneath the soil, slow, cooperative, and ancient, quietly sustaining the forest from below. This hidden web reminds us that forests are not collections of individuals, but communities bound together underground. As we move upward from the soil, the forest begins to reveal how much life is packed into even the smallest spaces. If you were to scoop up a single teaspoon of soil from a healthy forest floor, you would be holding an entire universe in miniature. Within that small amount of earth live billions of organisms: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, and microscopic arthropods, each performing quiet, essential work. These organisms break down fallen leaves, dead wood, and organic debris, transforming them into nutrients that trees and plants can reuse. Some microbes specialize in releasing nitrogen into forms roots can absorb. Others suppress disease by outcompeting harmful pathogens. Fungi extend delicate filaments through the soil, binding particles together and improving its structure so it can hold both air and water. This living soil also stores vast amounts of carbon, locking it away in complex organic compounds that can remain stable for decades or centuries. Many of these organisms have never been identified or studied. Their roles are inferred only through the balance they maintain. The forest's towering trees depend entirely on this unseen workforce. Without it, roots would starve, water would run off instead of soaking in, and the entire ecosystem would slowly unravel from the ground up. This microscopic abundance sets the stage for everything that rises above it. From this living soil, the forest begins to build its layered architecture, reaching upward into shadow and light. What looks like decay on the forest floor is actually careful preparation. Each fallen leaf becomes part of a slow, deliberate process that feeds the forest back into itself. As leaves settle, they form a soft layer known as leaf litter, protecting the soil beneath from erosion and temperature extremes. Fungi and bacteria move in first, breaking complex plant fibers into simpler compounds. Insects and worms follow, shredding and mixing this material deeper into the soil. Over time, the nutrients locked inside leaves, carbon, nitrogen, potassium, and trace minerals, are released and absorbed by roots once again. This recycling happens gradually, preventing sudden nutrient loss and ensuring a steady supply year after year. In many forests, especially tropical ones, nearly all available nutrients are held in this living cycle rather than the soil itself. Remove the leaf litter and the forest quickly weakens. What appears to be decay is actually continuity, the forest remembering how to feed itself. As nutrients return to the soil, roots spread outward to reclaim them. This quiet exchange sets the rhythm for how forests grow, layer by layer. Despite their height, most forest trees do not anchor themselves with deep taproots. Instead, they spread wide, shallow root systems that overlap and intertwine with those of neighboring trees. This strategy allows them to absorb nutrients concentrated near the surface, where decaying organic matter accumulates. In dense forests, roots may interlace so closely that it becomes difficult to tell where one tree ends and another begins. These overlapping systems provide stability, allowing trees to support one another against wind and storms. When one tree sways, its neighbours help absorb the force. Through shared fungal networks, these roots also exchange water and nutrients, reinforcing cooperation over competition. The strength of a forest often lies not in individual trunks, but in how tightly its roots are woven together beneath the soil. This underground cooperation mirrors the visible closeness of trunks above. As roots spread outward, trunks rise upward, beginning the forest's vertical story. A forest is not a single environment, but many stacked on top of one another. Closest to the ground lies the forest floor, cool, damp, and rich with decomposers. Above it grows the understory, filled with shrubs, saplings, and shade-loving plants adapted to low light. Higher still is the canopy, where branches interlock to form a living roof that captures most of the sunlight. In some forests, towering emergent trees rise above even this layer, reaching directly into open sky. Each level hosts different species, temperatures, humidity levels, and patterns of life. Animals may spend their entire existence in just one layer, never touching the others. This vertical complexity allows forests to support extraordinary biodiversity within a single footprint. Life is not spread evenly, but arranged like floors in a vast living building. With sunlight filtered through layers of leaves, the forest begins to shape light itself. That filtering defines how plants survive in shade and patience. In tropical rainforests, the canopy above is so thick that only a faint glow reaches the forest floor. Leaves overlap, branches interlock, and vines weave through gaps, capturing nearly all incoming sunlight. Measurements show that often less than 1% of available light penetrates this ceiling. Plants growing below must adapt by spreading wide leaves, growing slowly, and using light with extreme efficiency. Many seedlings live for decades in near darkness, waiting for a single tree to fall and open a window of sun. When that moment arrives, growth accelerates almost immediately. This patient waiting defines forest time, where survival depends less on speed and more on endurance. That waiting introduces one of the forest's quiet lessons. Growth does not always mean rising quickly. Sometimes it means enduring stillness. In shaded forests, fast growth can be a disadvantage. Trees that grow too quickly produce weaker wood, making them vulnerable to wind, pests, and disease. Many forest species instead grow slowly, building dense, resilient tissue over decades or centuries. This slow growth allows trees to survive droughts, fires, and freezing temperatures that would destroy faster-growing plants. Some ancient trees add only a millimeter or two of growth each year. Over time, this patience produces extraordinary longevity. In forests, survival is not about rushing upward, but about lasting through change. Strength is measured in years endured, not height gained. That endurance becomes visible when we look at the oldest trees on Earth. Their lives stretch far beyond human time. High in mountains and harsh environments, certain trees have survived for thousands of years. Bristlecone pines in the western United States are among the oldest known living organisms, with some individuals nearing 5,000 years of age. These trees grow where conditions are so difficult that competition is limited. Cold temperatures, rocky soil, and strong winds slow growth but protect them from disease and insects. Their wood becomes dense and resin-rich, resisting decay long after sections die. When you stand before such a tree, you are looking at a being that was alive before pyramids rose and empires formed. It has endured not by dominance, but by persistence. These ancient trees remind us that forests hold memory. Some of that memory is written not in rings, but in entire ecosystems shaped by time. Each year, a tree adds a new ring of growth beneath its bark. Wide rings form in warm, wet years. Narrow rings appear during droughts, cold spells, or stress. By studying these patterns, scientists can reconstruct climate conditions stretching back thousands of years. Volcanic eruptions, prolonged droughts, and even ancient storms leave signatures in wood. This field, known as dendrochronology, allows forests to act as natural archives of Earth's environmental history. Trees do not forget the conditions they grow through. They record them faithfully, layer by layer, season by season. As forests record the past, they also shape the present. Their influence extends outward, reaching air, water, and weather itself. On a hot day, stepping into a forest often feels like entering another climate. This cooling is not just shade. Trees draw water from the soil and release it into the air through tiny pores in their leaves. As this water evaporates, it absorbs heat, lowering surrounding temperatures. This process, called transpiration, functions like natural air conditioning. Large forests can cool entire regions by several degrees, creating stable microclimates that protect plants, animals, and nearby human communities. In a warming world, this cooling effect becomes increasingly important. That rising water vapor does more than cool the air. It begins a cycle that lifts moisture upward into the sky. As billions of leaves release water vapor, moist air rises above the canopy. This moisture condenses into clouds, often triggering rainfall directly over the forest. In vast rainforests like the Amazon, this process is so powerful that the forest helps sustain its own weather system. Rain falls, feeds the soil, is taken up by roots, and released again into the air, cycling repeatedly. Without this feedback loop, many forests would dry out and collapse. Trees do not simply endure climate, they actively participate in creating it. From rain, water flows outward. Rivers carry the forest's influence far beyond its borders. When rain falls on a forest, it does not rush away. Leaves slow it, roots guide it, soil absorbs it. This gentle movement allows water to seep into aquifers and feed streams gradually, reducing floods and sustaining rivers during dry seasons. Forested watersheds provide some of the cleanest drinking water on Earth. When forests are removed, rainfall runs off quickly, carrying soil and pollution into rivers. What remains is instability. Forests act as natural filters and reservoirs, quietly protecting water systems that millions depend on. Water connects forests to distant ecosystems. Through rivers, forests speak to lakes, wetlands, and oceans. Leaves, soil particles, and dissolved nutrients washed from forests travel through rivers into estuaries and oceans. There, they feed plankton, algae, and microorganisms that form the base of aquatic food webs. In this way, forests indirectly support fisheries and marine ecosystems thousands of miles away. The health of coral reefs, coastal fisheries, and ocean productivity often begins upstream under forest canopies. Land and sea are not separate systems, but partners linked by flowing water. As forests influence oceans, they also interact with the atmosphere above them. Even the air carries their signature. Trees emit organic compounds that drift into the air, giving forests their familiar scents. Pine, cedar, and eucalyptus release molecules that react with sunlight and water vapor, helping form tiny particles that seed clouds. These particles influence how light scatters and how rain forms. In large forested regions, these emissions subtly affect regional climate patterns. What we smell as freshness is part of a vast chemical conversation between leaves and sky. That conversation becomes visible in certain landscapes, where forests seem to colour the air itself. In heavily forested mountain regions, a soft blue haze often settles over distant ridges. This effect is caused by light scattering from organic particles released by trees. The Appalachian Mountains are famously known as the Blue Ridge for this reason. The colour is not illusion or distance alone, but the breadth of forests interacting with sunlight. Trees quietly paint the air around them, altering how landscapes are seen. As daylight fades, forests change again. Night introduces an entirely different rhythm. When night falls, many forests awaken. Frogs begin calling, insects hum and chirp, mammals move under cover of darkness. In tropical forests, nighttime soundscapes can rival or exceed the noise of cities. Each species occupies its own range of frequencies, allowing thousands of voices to overlap without drowning one another out. This nocturnal chorus is essential for mating, navigation, and survival. The forest never truly sleeps. It simply shifts its voice. Above these sounds, the night sky itself carries subtle light, often unnoticed by human eyes. High above Earth, chemical reactions in the upper atmosphere create a soft, constant glow known as air glow. This phenomenon occurs everywhere, but it is more detectable over dark landscapes like forests, far from artificial light. While not produced by trees themselves, forests provide the darkness that allows sensitive instruments, and sometimes human perception, to notice it. Even in deep night, the sky is never completely dark. As light fades overhead, life below continues its quiet labour. Even decay remains active through the night. Fallen trees, dead animals, and shed leaves are not endings. They are transitions. Fungi, bacteria, insects, and scavengers break down organic matter continuously, day and night. This process releases nutrients, builds soil, and prevents waste from accumulating. Dead wood alone supports thousands of species, from beetles to birds to mosses. In forests, death feeds life so efficiently that nothing is truly lost. That constant recycling supports astonishing abundance, especially among the smallest creatures. In many forests, particularly tropical ones, insects dominate in sheer numbers and diversity. Ants, beetles, termites, flies, and countless others pollinate plants, recycle nutrients, aerate soil, and feed larger animals. Their presence is so dense that it can feel as though the forest itself is humming. While it's poetic to say insects outnumber leaves, the deeper truth is their overwhelming influence. Without insects, forests would quickly unravel. All of this motion, sound, and life depends on balance. That balance becomes fragile when forests are disturbed. Forests have survived ice ages, fires, storms, and continental shifts, yet they rely on delicate balances between growth, decay, water, and climate. When these balances are pushed too far through deforestation, fragmentation, or rapid warming, forests can change faster than they can recover. Resilience does not mean immunity. It means the ability to heal when given time and space. Understanding this balance helps us see forests not as eternal backdrops, but as living systems that require care. With this foundation beneath us, we can begin to look higher, toward the towering forms that rise from forest floors into the sky. High above the forest floor, branches and leaves knit together into a canopy, an immense living ceiling that controls light, temperature, and moisture for everything beneath it. In many forests, this canopy intercepts rainfall before it ever reaches the ground, catching water on leaf surfaces where it can evaporate back into the air or drip slowly downward. The canopy also filters sunlight, turning harsh midday brightness into a softened green glow that keeps the understory cooler and more humid. This stable microclimate protects delicate seedlings, fungi, and countless small creatures that would dry out quickly in direct sun. The canopy is not uniform either. It is full of gaps, corridors, and overlaps that shift with wind and seasons, constantly reshaping where light and rain land. For many animals, birds, insects, monkeys, and reptiles, the canopy is not above the forest. It is the forest, a continuous habitat where food, shelter, and movement exist in 3 dimensions. The ground may feel like the forest's base, but the canopy is its broadest, busiest layer, quietly governing the life below. As the canopy gathers light and water, it also creates entirely separate habitats in the air. In the next fact, we'll step into those suspended worlds that live on branches. In the upper branches of many forests, especially humid, tropical, and cloud forests, entire communities of plants live in the air. These are epiphytes, orchids, bromeliads, ferns, and mosses that attach to bark and branches rather than rooting in the ground. They are not parasites. They use trees as support while gathering water from rain, mist, and humidity. Over time, epiphytes trap leaf fragments and dust, forming small pockets of soil high above the forest floor. In these tiny gardens, roots anchor into decomposing debris, and water collects in natural basins formed by overlapping leaves. Some bromeliads hold miniature pools that become nurseries for insects, tadpoles, and small amphibians, turning a single branch into a micro-wetland. Epiphytes also increase the forest's total surface area, capturing moisture and nutrients that would otherwise drift away. In a sense, they allow forests to grow upward into layered ecosystems, where life doesn't simply climb, it builds whole neighborhoods in the canopy. These aerial gardens often hold water like hidden cups in the leaves. Next, we'll look at how those tiny pools become real habitats, complete with their own food webs. In the canopy, water doesn't always fall straight to the ground. Sometimes it's stored, cradled, and kept aloft. Bromeliads, common in many tropical forests, arrange their leaves in tight rosettes that collect rainwater and mist, forming small reservoirs called phytotelmata. These pools can persist for weeks or months, refreshed by storms and fog. Inside them, life gathers: mosquito larvae, beetles, tiny crustaceans, and microbes that break down fallen pollen and leaf fragments. In some places, frogs lay eggs in these treetop ponds, and tadpoles grow in water that never touches soil. Nutrients from these pools can leak slowly onto branches, feeding epiphytes and even the host tree through drip lines. Scientists studying canopy ecology often describe this realm as a separate continent above the forest floor, one built from living architecture and suspended water. It's a reminder that a forest is not just tall, it is stacked, holding worlds above worlds, each one quietly sustained by the simple act of catching rain. From pools in leaves, we can move to another kind of shelter in the canopy: hollows, crevices, and cavities. Next, we'll explore how old trees become homes carved into wood itself. A hollow in an old tree may look like a simple cavity, but it can become a self-contained habitat with its own cycles of water, shelter, and food. Hollows form when branches break, lightning scars the trunk, or fungi slowly soften wood from within. Over time, rainwater collects in these pockets, along with decaying leaves and bits of bark, creating a damp, nutrient-rich environment. Insects breed there, microbes flourish, and small amphibians may use the moisture as refuge. Many birds and mammals depend on hollows for nesting: owls, woodpeckers, bats, squirrels, each relying on the insulation and protection that a hollow provides. In forests where large, old trees are rare, hollows become precious real estate, limiting how many species can thrive. A single ancient tree might host dozens of separate lives: a nest tucked into one cavity, beetles living in softened wood nearby, fungi fruiting in shaded cracks, and mosses spreading across the damp rim. Hollows turn trees into vertical apartment buildings, where shelter is built not by construction, but by time, weather, and decay working patiently together. These cavities become more common as trees age and wood thickens. Next, we'll look at how some forests depend on long-lived giants to maintain stability across centuries. An old-growth forest is not simply a forest with old trees. It is a community shaped by long time, centuries of growth, death, renewal, and gradual adjustment. In these forests, the structure becomes complex. Fallen logs become nurse beds for seedlings, gaps in the canopy create shifting islands of sunlight, and layers of vegetation form stable habitats. The soil grows deeper and richer in organic matter. Microbial networks become more established. Even the air feels different, cooler, more humid, steadier. Old-growth forests often hold more biodiversity than younger stands because they contain more niches: decaying wood, thick bark, deep shade, and towering crowns. They also store large amounts of carbon in both living biomass and soil, acting as long-term reservoirs rather than short-term flows. When old growth is removed, it is not simply trees that are lost, but a web of relationships that takes generations to rebuild. These forests teach a quiet lesson. Stability is not the absence of change, but change unfolding slowly enough that life can keep pace. From the patience of old growth, we can shift to the forest's most dramatic reaching upward. Next, we'll talk about how trees grow into the sky, creating the tallest living structures on Earth. To stand at the base of a truly tall tree is to feel scale rearrange itself in your mind. The tallest living organisms on Earth are trees, particularly coastal redwoods, Sequoia sempervirens, which can rise well above 350 feet under the right conditions. Their height is made possible by a rare combination of steady moisture, mild temperatures, and long growing seasons, often supported by coastal fog that keeps their crowns hydrated even when rain is scarce. Water must be lifted against gravity through intricate plumbing inside the trunk. xylem tissue that pulls moisture upward in a continuous column. It is a fragile process, one that sets limits on how high trees can grow before water transport becomes too difficult. Historically, it's worth noting that some Australian eucalyptus species may have rivaled redwoods in height before extensive logging reduced the number of truly gigantic individuals. Today, however, the highest verified living trees are redwoods, quiet towers that turn sunlight, fog and time into vertical wood, ring by ring. Great height brings unique challenges. Wind, lightning and dryness intensify high above the ground. Next, we'll explore how some forests draw water from the air itself, helping tall trees and their neighbours survive. In certain coastal and mountainous regions, forests are sustained by something subtler than rainfall: fog. When moist air moves inland and cools, it condenses into fine droplets that drift through trees like slow smoke. Leaves, needles, and mossy branches catch this moisture, turning fog into water that drips to the ground. In coastal redwood forests, fog drip can supply a significant portion of summer moisture, especially during dry months when rain is minimal. The trees themselves can absorb water directly through their leaves, and the forest floor benefits as fog-fed droplets soak into soil and nourish roots. This fog capture also helps keep temperatures stable and humidity high, creating conditions that support ferns, mosses, salamanders, and fungi that would struggle in drier air. In a way, fog forests blur the boundary between sky and land. The atmosphere becomes part of the watershed. The forest is not only a receiver of water, it is a net, a comb, a quiet collector, harvesting moisture from passing air. When moisture is abundant, forests can support rich plant growth even in difficult terrain. Next, we'll step into cloud forests, where mist is so constant that the air itself feels like a stream. Cloud forests live high in mountains where mist and low clouds wrap the canopy for much of the year. Here, water arrives not only as rain, but as continuous fog that brushes across leaves, moss and bark. Branches become saturated with life: orchids, bromeliads, lichens, and thick curtains of moss that act like sponges, catching moisture and releasing it slowly. This process, often called cloud stripping, can add significant water to the ecosystem, feeding springs and streams that flow down into valleys below. In some regions, cloud forests are so important to freshwater supply that cities depend on them indirectly, drawing water that began as fog caught on leaves. The trees themselves are adapted to this wet air, with leaf shapes and surfaces that help condense droplets. Walking through a cloud forest feels like moving inside weather. Everything glistening, every surface damp, sound softened by mist. It is a reminder that forests do not only sit under climate, sometimes they live inside it, drinking from clouds as naturally as roots drink from soil. But not all forest water comes from above. Next, we'll return to the ground and see how forests hold fresh water in hidden storage, far beyond what the eye can see. When people picture fresh water, they often imagine lakes and rivers. Yet one of the largest reservoirs of fresh water associated with forests is hidden underground. Forest soils act like layered sponges, holding moisture in pores between particles and within organic matter formed from decaying leaves and wood. Roots help create structure, channels that guide water downward, while leaf litter slows rainfall so it can soak in rather than rush away. In many forests, this stored water supports plants through dry seasons and feeds streams gradually, keeping them flowing when rainfall stops. Wetland forests and peat-rich areas are especially important, locking water into saturated soils for long periods. This storage stabilizes ecosystems and reduces extremes. Fewer flash floods after storms, fewer catastrophic drought effects when skies stay clear. In human terms, forests protect watersheds by managing water gently and continuously. They don't just receive rain, they hold it, filter it, and release it slowly, quietly acting as living infrastructure built from roots, soil, and time. This ability to hold water also influences the forest's daily rhythms. Next, we'll explore how forests breathe in measurable cycles, shifting gases near the ground as day turns to night. A forest is not only alive across seasons, it pulses across each day. During daylight, photosynthesis draws carbon dioxide from the air as leaves convert sunlight into sugars. But at night, when photosynthesis stops, respiration continues. Trees, roots, microbes and fungi all release carbon dioxide as they use energy to live. Near the forest floor, especially in still conditions, CO2 can build up overnight in a thin layer of air, then drop again after sunrise as plants resume taking it in and morning winds mix the atmosphere. Scientists can measure these daily swings, almost like reading the forest's clock by its breathing pattern. This rhythm reveals something important. Forests are dynamic systems, always exchanging gases, always balancing growth with decay, intake with release. The calm you feel in a forest is not the calm of stillness. It is the calm of a steady cycle repeating, day after day, so reliably that life can lean on it. With the forest's daily breath in mind, we can begin to look at its moving inhabitants and quiet alliances. Next, we'll shift from trees and soil to the animals that help forests renew themselves. In many forest ecosystems, fire is not an intruder, but a long-established participant. Pine forests in North America, eucalyptus forests in Australia, and savanna woodland systems around the world evolved with regular, low-intensity fires. These fires clear away dense undergrowth, recycle nutrients locked in dead material, and open space for sunlight to reach the forest floor. Some trees depend on fire to reproduce. Certain pine cones are sealed with resin and only release their seeds when exposed to intense heat. After flames pass, ash enriches the soil, competition is reduced, and seedlings sprout into newly opened ground. Animals too adapt to these cycles, with some birds hunting insects fleeing the fire line. Problems arise not from fire itself, but when natural fire rhythms are disrupted through suppression or land misuse, allowing fuel to build until fires become unnaturally large and destructive. In their natural balance, forest fires act less like endings and more like resets. Brief, intense moments that clear space for the next generation of life. From fire's visible transformation, we turn to something less obvious but just as persistent. Some fires don't blaze at all, they smolder quietly beneath the surface. Not all forest fires announce themselves with towering flames. In peat-rich soils and organic forest floors, fires can creep underground, smouldering slowly through layers of carbon-dense material. These ground fires or zombie fires may burn unnoticed for months, sometimes even surviving beneath snow through winter. Because oxygen is limited underground, the fire advances quietly, releasing smoke and carbon dioxide without dramatic flames. These fires are notoriously difficult to extinguish, as water often fails to penetrate deep enough to reach the burning layer. When conditions dry, they can resurface far from their original ignition point, reigniting above ground. From a climate perspective, underground fires are significant because they release carbon that may have been stored for centuries. They remind us that forests don't just burn on the surface. They carry slow, hidden processes that can outlast seasons, silently reshaping the land beneath our feet. From fire hidden below ground, we move upward again, to the sky, where forests encounter one of nature's most sudden forces. Lightning regularly strikes forests, especially tall trees standing above their neighbours. While a direct strike can be fatal, many trees survive these encounters. Thick bark can insulate living tissue, allowing electrical current to travel along the exterior rather than through vital inner layers. Moisture inside the trunk can also conduct electricity quickly downward, reducing damage. Some trees develop long, charred scars spiraling up their trunks, permanent reminders of past storms. Over time, living tissue can slowly grow around these wounds, sealing them and continuing upward growth. Forests that experience frequent lightning often show multiple trees bearing such marks, standing as quiet witnesses to repeated encounters with powerful storms. Survival here is not about avoiding danger, but about enduring it, adapting structure and chemistry to withstand sudden extremes. Lightning reminds us how exposed forest canopies are to the atmosphere above, yet forests don't only endure weather, they help shape it. Forests are not passive under the moving air. As sunlight warms the canopy, warm air rises above it, drawing cooler air inward from surrounding areas. This creates gentle but persistent air movement within and around forested regions. Leaves also roughen airflow, slowing winds and creating turbulence that mixes heat and moisture more evenly. In large forests, these effects can scale up, subtly influencing regional wind patterns and humidity distribution. This interaction helps stabilize temperatures and reduces extreme drying. Standing in a forest clearing, the breeze you feel may not have traveled far. It may have been generated locally, born from the temperature differences created by sunlit leaves and shaded ground. Forests don't just shelter from wind, they quietly help create it. Moving air carries moisture upward, setting the stage for storms. In some forests, this process becomes especially powerful. In dense, humid forests, rising moisture feeds storm clouds above. As trees release water vapor through transpiration, warm air ascends and cools, allowing clouds to form and grow unstable. In places like the Amazon basin, this process contributes to frequent afternoon thunderstorms. Ice and water particles collide inside these clouds, building electrical charges that lead to lightning. Thousands of strikes may occur in a single night over large forested regions. While forests don't create storms alone, they significantly amplify the conditions that make them possible. In this way, the forest participates in the drama of the sky, lifting moisture leaf by leaf until clouds respond with thunder and rain. Once storms pass, night settles again. In darkness, the forest reveals subtler phenomena, some seen, some barely sensed. When daylight fades, many forest creatures retreat and others emerge. Nocturnal mammals, insects, amphibians, and birds take over the soundscape. Frogs call from hidden pools, insects pulse in rhythmic choruses, and predators navigate using scent and sound rather than sight. Plants too shift their chemistry at night, closing stomata or releasing different compounds into the air. For many species, night is safer, cooler, and richer in opportunity. A forest at night is not a quieter version of day, it is a different world, layered with activity adapted to darkness. Above this nocturnal life, the sky holds phenomena that are easy to miss when cities glow nearby. Far from artificial light, forests provide some of the darkest environments accessible to humans. This darkness allows faint celestial details to become visible, dense star fields, the Milky Way's soft band, and subtle atmospheric effects that disappear under urban glare. While forests don't alter the sky itself, they offer conditions where the sky can be experienced more fully. The absence of artificial light lets human vision adapt, drawing attention upward and slowing perception. Darkness becomes not empty, but richly textured. Among those subtle textures is a phenomenon that exists everywhere but is rarely noticed. High above the forest canopy, chemical reactions in the upper atmosphere release tiny amounts of light in a phenomenon known as air glow. This glow is caused by atoms and molecules such as oxygen and nitrogen releasing energy after being excited by sunlight during the day. Air glow is global, not forest-specific, but it becomes easier to detect over dark landscapes where artificial light does not overpower it. Sensitive instruments record it clearly, and under exceptional conditions, the human eye may sense a faint, diffuse brightness. Even in deep night, Earth's atmosphere is quietly luminous, shimmering beyond ordinary perception. This faint glow reminds us that darkness is never absolute. Life below mirrors this truth in its own subtle signals. While the sky glows faintly above, the forest floor can glow as well. Certain fungi emit a soft greenish light through bioluminescence, a chemical reaction that produces light without heat. These glowing mushrooms often appear on decaying wood in humid forests. Scientists believe the light may attract insects that help spread fungal spores, though research continues. Fireflies add their own flashes, weaving signals through the understory. These lights are not constant beacons, but brief, delicate expressions of living chemistry. To encounter them feels like stumbling into a secret, proof that even in darkness, life finds ways to shine. Light fades again as morning approaches. With daylight, the forest's sounds begin to change once more. Forests follow daily rhythms not only of light and gas exchange, but of sound. Dawn often begins with birdsong, as species claim territory and communicate before winds rise. As the day warms, insects dominate the acoustic space, their buzzing filling higher frequencies. Rain may briefly take over, drumming on leaves, before evening brings frogs, crickets, and nocturnal mammals into chorus. Scientists studying these soundscapes find they are carefully partitioned, each species calling at times and pitches that avoid overlap. Listening across a full day reveals a structured pattern, not chaos. The forest speaks in cycles, its voice changing with the sun, reminding us that even sound follows the slow, dependable rhythms that allow life to rest, wake, and endure. With these rhythms in mind, we're ready to look outward, beyond individual forests, to how they shape the planet itself. The cooling effect you feel when stepping into a forest extends far beyond shade. Trees continuously move water from soil into the air through transpiration, and as this water evaporates, it absorbs heat from the surrounding environment. When this process occurs across millions or billions of leaves, the cumulative effect can lower regional temperatures by several degrees. Large forests help stabilize heat extremes, reducing both daytime highs and nighttime lows. This cooling influences weather patterns, protects sensitive species from heat stress, and even moderates nearby agricultural zones and cities. Satellite data consistently shows that forested areas are cooler than surrounding cleared land, especially during heat waves. In a warming climate, forests act as natural thermal buffers, quietly easing temperature swings through steady biological processes rather than sudden mechanical ones. Their cooling power is slow, continuous, and deeply tied to living systems that evolved long before humans learned to measure heat. As heat is absorbed and moisture rises, forests begin to shape the movement of air above them. That movement leads directly into how forests help form clouds. Whoa! Every leaf in a forest acts as a tiny valve, releasing water vapor into the air. Multiply this by billions of leaves, and forests become some of the largest sources of atmospheric moisture on land. In tropical regions, this vapor forms invisible rivers in the sky, massive flows of moisture that can travel hundreds or even thousands of miles before falling as rain. In the Amazon, these atmospheric rivers help carry water inland and southward, sustaining rainfall far from the forest itself. This moisture transport is essential for maintaining climate stability across entire continents. Without it, interior regions would become drier, hotter, and less predictable. Forests do not simply recycle local rain. They export moisture through the atmosphere, linking distant landscapes through air instead of water. As vapor rises and travels, it begins to gather into clouds. The forest's role in rainfall becomes increasingly clear. In large, dense forests, moisture released by trees can condense and fall back as rain repeatedly over the same region. The Amazon rainforest is the most studied example of this process. Water evaporates from leaves, forms clouds, rains back down, and is taken up again by roots, cycling multiple times before ever reaching the ocean. This feedback loop allows the forest to maintain humid conditions even during dry seasons. Without sufficient tree cover, the cycle weakens, rainfall declines, and the system begins to destabilize. Forests that sustain their own rain are not passive recipients of climate. They are active participants, maintaining conditions that allow them to persist. Rain does not fall evenly or instantly. Once it reaches the forest, trees and soil decide how it moves. When rain falls on open ground, it can rush quickly into streams, causing erosion and floods. In forests, leaves, branches, and leaf litter intercept rainfall, breaking its force and slowing its descent. Water drips gradually from leaf to leaf, giving soil time to absorb it. Roots then guide that water deeper underground, reducing surface runoff. This process protects riverbanks, prevents landslides, and stabilizes stream flow during storms. Forested watersheds experience fewer flash floods and more reliable water availability during dry periods. In this way, forests act as natural flood regulators, smoothing extremes rather than allowing sudden surges. The water that filters through forests does not remain unchanged. As it moves, it carries the forest's chemical signature with it. Rain falling through a forest canopy is transformed before it reaches the ground. As droplets pass over leaves and bark, they collect organic compounds, minerals, and microscopic particles released by trees. This process, known as throughfall, alters the chemistry of the water, often enriching it with nutrients that benefit soil microbes and plants. In some cases, compounds picked up from leaves can suppress pathogens or influence which plants successfully germinate nearby. Each forest has its own chemical fingerprint, subtly shaping the soil beneath it through altered rainfall. Water in forests becomes not just weather, but communication, carrying information from leaves to roots. That same chemistry continues downstream, influencing rivers that flow out of forested regions. In many forested regions, rivers take on characteristic colors and chemistries shaped by surrounding vegetation. In tropical forests, especially in the Amazon basin, some rivers appear dark brown or nearly black. This coloration comes from tannins and organic acids released by decaying leaves and plant matter. These Blackwater rivers are low in nutrients but often very clear, supporting specialized fish and plant communities adapted to their chemistry. Nearby rivers flowing through different soils may appear milky or sediment-heavy, creating sharp contrasts. Forests, through slow decomposition and chemical release, shape aquatic ecosystems far beyond their roots. As rivers carry forest influence outward, the atmosphere continues to carry forest signals upward. Even clouds are affected. Along with water vapor, forests emit tiny airborne particles known as aerosols. These particles originate from plant chemicals, soil microbes, and even fragments of organic matter. In the atmosphere, aerosols act as seeds around which water droplets can gather, forming clouds. Some studies suggest that forest-derived aerosols influence cloud brightness, lifetime, and rainfall patterns. In effect, forests don't just provide moisture, they help organize it into rain. This process links biology directly to meteorology, showing how life on the ground can influence processes high in the sky. As light passes through air shaped by forest aerosols, landscapes themselves can appear changed. In heavily forested regions, organic particles released by trees interact with sunlight, scattering shorter wavelengths more efficiently. This scattering can give distant hills and ridges a bluish appearance, especially under warm, humid conditions. The Blue Ridge Mountains in the eastern United States are a well-known example. The color is not simply distance haze, it is the optical result of forests breathing chemicals into the air. Trees, in this way, influence not only climate but perception, shaping how entire regions look to the human eye. As daylight fades, forests continue influencing the atmosphere in quieter, less visible ways. After sunset, forests do not shut down. Respiration continues in leaves, roots, and soil organisms, releasing carbon dioxide and trace gases into the air. Moisture remains trapped beneath the canopy, slowing temperature drops and maintaining stable nighttime conditions. In large forests, this can reduce frost risk and protect sensitive species. While photosynthesis pauses, the forest's exchange with the atmosphere carries on, maintaining balance through the night. Darkness is not inactivity. It is simply a different phase of the cycle. With night settled, the sky above forests often feels deeper and more expansive. That darkness reveals something subtle and universal. Forests do not change the fundamental behavior of the atmosphere, but they offer something rare: darkness. Far from artificial light, forested landscapes allow human vision and scientific instruments to detect faint atmospheric and celestial phenomena that are otherwise drowned out. Stars appear sharper, subtle sky glows become detectable, weather patterns feel more immediate and immersive. Forests provide the conditions for noticing what is already there, reminding us that much of nature's beauty depends not on creating something new, but on removing what interferes. In the quiet darkness above trees, the atmosphere reveals itself more honestly. With the forest's planetary influence in mind, we can now turn toward the countless living partnerships that keep forests alive. Trees are built from carbon. Through photosynthesis, they draw carbon dioxide from the air and convert it into sugars that become trunks, branches, bark, and roots. Over decades and centuries, this process locks carbon into solid form, storing it above ground as living biomass. Large, old trees are especially important because they continue accumulating carbon year after year, often storing more in later life than when they were young. Forests with diverse age structures, seedlings, mature trees and elders, hold carbon more steadily than uniform plantations. When trees remain standing, this carbon stays out of the atmosphere, helping stabilize climate. When forests are cleared or burned, much of that stored carbon returns to the air. In this way, forests act as long-term carbon reservoirs, not because they are fast, but because they are patient, holding carbon quietly in wood that grows ring by ring over time. Much of a forest's carbon, however, is not visible at all. To understand its full role, we need to look beneath the surface. While towering trunks draw the eye, forest soils quietly hold vast quantities of carbon below ground. Decaying leaves, roots, fungi, and microorganisms create complex organic compounds that bind carbon into soil particles. In many forests, especially cool and wet ones, decomposition happens slowly, allowing carbon to accumulate over long periods. This underground storage can exceed the carbon held in living trees themselves. Disturbing soil, through logging, drainage, or warming, can release this carbon back into the atmosphere. Protecting forests, therefore, means protecting not just trees, but the soil systems beneath them that act as deep, slow carbon banks built over centuries. Some forests are especially important in this regard. Among them, the northern boreal forests play an outsized role in Earth's carbon balance. Stretching across Canada, Russia, and Scandinavia, the boreal forest forms a vast green ring around the northern hemisphere. Much of its carbon is not held in trees, but locked in cold, waterlogged soils and peatlands, where decomposition is extremely slow. These regions have accumulated carbon for thousands of years, making them some of the planet's largest terrestrial carbon stores. As long as temperatures remain low and soils stay saturated, this carbon remains stable. But warming threatens to thaw frozen ground and dry wetlands, increasing the risk of carbon release. The boreal forest's climate importance lies less in rapid growth and more in long-term storage, holding ancient carbon in quiet, frozen balance. This brings us to a common misunderstanding about forests and the air we breathe. Clarifying it helps us see forests more accurately. It is often said that forests are the lungs of the earth, but this metaphor can be misleading. In mature forests, the oxygen produced by photosynthesis is largely balanced by the oxygen consumed through respiration and decomposition. Over long periods, these systems tend to be close to oxygen neutral. Their greatest climate value is not generating new oxygen, but storing carbon and regulating energy, water, and climate cycles. Most of Earth's net oxygen production comes from oceanic phytoplankton rather than land forests. Understanding this distinction does not diminish forests, it clarifies their true role. They stabilize the atmosphere by holding carbon in place and smoothing the exchange of gases, not by endlessly adding oxygen to the air. With gases balanced, forests turn much of their influence toward water, guiding how it moves, rests, and returns. As rain filters through forest soils, it doesn't simply disappear. Roots and organic layers slow the movement of water, allowing it to seep deep into the ground and replenish aquifers. This process supports wells, springs, and rivers far from the forest itself. In landscapes without forests, water often runs off quickly, leaving little behind for long-term storage. Forested regions, by contrast, act like sponges, absorbing water during wet periods and releasing it gradually during dry ones. This steady recharge helps maintain reliable freshwater supplies for ecosystems and human communities alike. Water stored underground eventually returns to the surface. Forests help determine how and when that return happens. Tree roots anchor soil in place, binding particles together and preventing them from being washed or blown away. Canopies soften the impact of rain, while leaf litter cushions the ground, reducing splash erosion. In hilly or mountainous regions, forests are especially important for preventing landslides and maintaining slope stability. When forests are removed, soil can erode rapidly, stripping landscapes of fertility and clogging rivers with sediment. By holding soil steady, forests protect not only themselves, but downstream farms, reservoirs, and coastlines. The ground beneath a forest is not just dirt, it is a carefully held foundation. Protected soils support rich microbial life, which in turn shapes how nutrients move through the ecosystem. Bacteria and fungi in forest soils control how nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus move through the ecosystem. Some microbes convert nitrogen from the air into forms plants can use. Others break down organic matter, releasing nutrients slowly rather than all at once. This regulation prevents nutrient loss and supports steady growth over time. Without microbial mediation, forests would swing between scarcity and excess, destabilizing plant communities. These microscopic organisms act as gatekeepers, quietly deciding when nutrients are released and when they are held back. As nutrients cycle within forests, some inevitably travel outward. Rivers become the next carriers of forest influence. Rivers rising in forested watersheds tend to flow more steadily throughout the year. Forest cover reduces sudden surges after storms and sustains flow during dry seasons. Leaves and soils filter pollutants and bind sediments, improving water clarity and quality. The chemical composition of river water, its nutrients, acidity, and dissolved organic matter, often reflects the forest it passes through. In this way, rivers carry the forest's signature downstream, shaping wetlands, floodplains, and coastal ecosystems. Eventually, those rivers reach the sea, extending the forest's influence even farther. Nutrients washed from forest soils into rivers help fuel plankton growth where freshwater meets the ocean. These plankton form the base of marine food webs, supporting fish, seabirds, and larger ocean life. Forests also influence how much carbon enters the ocean by regulating atmospheric carbon dioxide and freshwater input. Even aerosols released by forests can drift over oceans, affecting cloud cover and rainfall patterns that shape marine conditions. Though separated by land and water, forests and oceans are linked through continuous exchanges of matter and energy. All of these connections point to a larger truth about forests and climate. Forests shape climate not through a single mechanism, but through many working together. They store carbon in wood and soil, cool the air through evaporation, guide rainfall through moisture recycling, stabilize water systems, and influence atmospheric chemistry. Removing forests disrupts all of these processes at once, amplifying climate instability. Protecting them preserves not just trees, but entire systems that moderate extremes and maintain balance. Forests are not passengers in Earth's climate system. They are quiet engineers, continuously shaping the conditions that allow life, including our own, to persist. With the planet-wide role of forests in view, we can now turn back toward the living partnerships that renew forests from one generation to the next. Many forest trees cannot spread on their own. Instead, they rely on animals to carry their seeds away from the parent plant, reducing competition and allowing forests to expand. Birds eat berries and later deposit seeds far from where they were consumed. Mammals carry nuts in their mouths or bury them in the soil, forgetting some that later sprout. Even ants participate, dragging seeds rich in fatty coatings into their nests, where unused seeds germinate in protected soil. This partnership allows forests to regenerate after storms, fires, or tree falls. Without animal movement, many trees would struggle to colonize new ground or maintain genetic diversity. Forests are not built by plants alone. They are shaped by countless journeys, feathered, furred, and small, each seed traveling quietly toward its future. Seed movement leads naturally to the creatures that specialize in spreading forests at night. Their work happens mostly unseen. In tropical and subtropical forests, bats are among the most important seed dispersers. Many fruit-eating bats feed at night, carrying seeds long distances before dropping them or passing them through digestion. This makes bats especially effective at restoring disturbed landscapes, such as areas cleared by storms or fire. Some studies show that bats are responsible for the majority of early plant regrowth in damaged tropical forests. They often disperse fast-growing pioneer species that stabilize soil and create shade, making conditions suitable for slower-growing trees later on. Though rarely noticed, bats quietly rebuild forests in darkness, wingbeat by wingbeat. As forests regenerate, some animals shape not just where trees grow, but how the forest itself is structured. In some forests, large herbivores act as ecosystem engineers. Forest elephants in Central Africa are a clear example. As they move through dense vegetation, they trample pathways that allow light to reach the forest floor. By feeding on certain plants and dispersing large seeds through their dung, they influence which tree species dominate. Some seeds germinate best only after passing through an elephant's digestive system. Over time, elephant activity shapes canopy density, plant diversity, and forest layout. When these animals disappear, forests can grow denser but less diverse. Large animals are not just residents of forests, they are architects, shaping the environment through their daily lives. From large animals, we return to much smaller creatures whose influence is just as powerful. Flowers in forests rely on insects more than wind to reproduce. Bees, beetles, flies, butterflies, and moths carry pollen from plant to plant as they feed. Some forest plants are pollinated by only a single insect species, making these relationships highly specialized. Without pollinators, seed production declines and forests gradually thin. Insects are especially important in understory environments, where wind movement is limited and flowers bloom in shade. Their constant motion keeps genetic exchange flowing through plant populations, sustaining diversity and resilience. Though small, pollinating insects support the continuation of entire forest ecosystems. Pollination keeps forests reproducing, but decomposition keeps them balanced. That work belongs to another quiet workforce. A fallen tree is not wasted space. Dead wood becomes a foundation for life, hosting fungi, insects, mosses, and microorganisms that cannot survive elsewhere. Beetle larvae tunnel through softening wood, birds feed on the insects, and fungi break complex fibers into usable nutrients. Over time, a single fallen log may support hundreds of species, gradually transforming into soil. In some forests, more biodiversity exists in decaying wood than in standing trees. Removing dead wood disrupts these cycles, starving decomposers and the animals that depend on them. In forests, death is not an end point. It is a necessary stage in renewal. As wood breaks down, it feeds soil communities that work constantly beneath the surface. Fungi are among the forest's most influential organisms. Some form partnerships with living trees, exchanging nutrients. Others specialize in decay, breaking down lignin and cellulose that few organisms can digest. Without fungi, forests would choke on their own remains. Fungal networks also influence which plants survive, sometimes favoring certain species by providing them with better access to nutrients. In this way, fungi help shape forest composition over time. They operate quietly, often unseen, balancing growth and decay in a continuous cycle that keeps forests functioning. Fungi work alongside another subtle indicator of forest health: organisms that respond quickly to changes in air quality. Lichens, which are partnerships between fungi and algae or cyanobacteria, are highly sensitive to air pollution. Because they absorb nutrients directly from the atmosphere rather than through roots, they respond quickly to changes in air chemistry. In healthy forests, lichens thrive on bark and rocks, forming pale green, grey or orange patches. When air quality declines, many lichen species disappear. For this reason, scientists use lichen presence and diversity to monitor pollution levels over time. Their quiet growth reflects invisible changes in the air, making them living instruments woven into the forest itself. As forests support sensitive organisms, they also create habitats for creatures that rarely touch the ground. In dense forests, many animals are adapted to life high above the ground. Monkeys, sloths, frogs, insects, and even small mammals live entirely within the canopy, feeding, breeding, and travelling without descending to the forest floor. For these species, branches form highways and leaves provide shelter. The canopy offers abundant food and protection from ground-based predators. Scientists studying these animals often need cranes or rope systems to reach them, revealing ecosystems that remained largely unexplored until recent decades. The forest, for these creatures, is not vertical, it is complete. Life in the canopy depends on timing, especially when it comes to sound and communication. Birds do not sing at random. Many species time their calls to specific moments of the day, especially dawn, when sound travels far and competition is reduced. This dawn chorus allows multiple species to communicate without overwhelming one another. In dense forests where visibility is limited, sound becomes a primary tool for marking territory and attracting mates. Each species occupies its own acoustic niche, defined by pitch, rhythm, and timing. Together, these voices create structured soundscapes that reflect the health and diversity of the forest. Sound fades and rises again as the day continues. Insects take over as the dominant voices. In many forests, especially tropical ones, insects form the largest share of animal life by number and often by biomass. Ants, termites, beetles, flies, and countless others fill every layer of the ecosystem. While it is poetic to say insects outnumber leaves, the deeper truth is their overwhelming density and influence. They recycle nutrients, pollinate plants, control populations, and serve as food for birds, mammals, and reptiles. Without insects, forests would collapse quickly. Their presence is so constant that it becomes invisible, yet they form the living foundation upon which much larger life depends. With animal partnerships explored, we can now turn toward forests across deep time and extreme environments. In certain forests where soils are poor in nitrogen and phosphorus, some plants have evolved unusual strategies to survive. Carnivorous plants such as pitcher plants, sundews, and bladderworts trap insects and digest them to gain nutrients unavailable in the soil. Pitcher plants use deep, slippery leaves filled with liquid to lure and drown insects, while sundews rely on sticky, gland-covered surfaces that slowly curl around their prey. These plants still perform photosynthesis like other plants. Insects are not their energy source, but a nutrient supplement. This adaptation allows them to thrive in environments where decay and mineral availability are limited, such as acidic bog forests or nutrient-poor tropical understories. Their presence reveals how competitive forest environments can be, especially in shaded or waterlogged conditions. Carnivorous plants are not aggressive hunters, but quiet opportunists, turning scarcity into survival through slow, precise chemistry. These adaptations remind us that forests are shaped not only by cooperation, but also by constant pressure. Next, we'll look at organisms that influence forests from the smallest possible scale. Forests are filled with viruses, most of them invisible and unknown. These viruses infect bacteria, fungi, plants, insects, and animals, often without causing obvious harm. In soil and leaf litter, viruses help regulate microbial populations by infecting and breaking down bacteria, releasing nutrients back into the ecosystem. In this way, they influence nutrient cycling indirectly, shaping how carbon and nitrogen move through forests. Some viruses exist quietly inside their hosts, activating only under certain conditions, while others limit outbreaks of dominant species, preventing any one group from overwhelming the system. Although viruses are often associated with disease, in forests many act as stabilizers, maintaining balance through subtle control. Their presence reminds us that forests are governed not only by visible life, but by microscopic forces operating beneath awareness. These invisible regulators support forests that stretch across continents and seasons. That reach becomes especially clear when we follow migrating animals. For millions of birds, forests are not permanent homes, but essential resting points along vast migratory routes. During seasonal migrations, birds depend on forested areas to provide food, shelter, and protection from predators. A single forest patch can determine whether a long journey succeeds or fails. Insects emerging at just the right time fuel flights across deserts or oceans. Fruiting trees offer energy-rich meals when birds need them most. Even species that nest in open habitats often rely on forests during migration. When forest corridors disappear, migratory routes can collapse, affecting populations across entire continents. The songs heard in spring may belong to travelers whose survival depends on forests far beyond the horizon. Migration connects distant ecosystems, just as some animals reshape forests by remaining in one place. Certain species don't merely live in forests, they reshape them. Beavers, for example, alter forested waterways by building dams that flood surrounding areas, creating wetlands rich in biodiversity. These flooded forests support amphibians, birds, fish, and insects, while slowing water flow and trapping sediment. Over time, abandoned dams allow forests to regrow in nutrient-rich soil. Elsewhere, animals like wild boar disturb forest floors while foraging, mixing soil layers and influencing seed germination. These activities may seem disruptive, but they often increase habitat diversity. Forests are not static backdrops. They are landscapes constantly remodeled by the creatures within them. Engineering doesn't always involve large animals. Some of the most influential forest shapers are barely visible. Parasites are a natural and necessary part of forest ecosystems. Fungi, insects, and microorganisms parasitize plants and animals, limiting population explosions that could destabilize the system. Parasitic fungi may weaken dominant trees, allowing light to reach the forest floor and increasing plant diversity. Insects that parasitize other insects help control outbreaks that might otherwise strip forests bare. Even parasites that seem harmful contribute to long-term balance by preventing any single species from becoming overwhelming. Forest health is not defined by the absence of stress, but by the presence of regulation. Parasitism, though uncomfortable to observe, is one of the forest's tools for maintaining equilibrium. These controls are especially important as forests respond to changing climates. Some species are already shifting their ranges. As temperatures rise and precipitation patterns change, forests are gradually moving. Tree species adapted to cooler climates are shifting uphill or toward the poles, while drought-tolerant species expand into areas that were once too wet or cold. These changes occur slowly, often over decades, but they are measurable. Seed dispersal, soil compatibility, and animal partnerships all influence whether forests can migrate successfully. In fragmented landscapes, movement becomes difficult, increasing the risk of decline. Forests do not relocate as units, they change one species at a time. This gradual reshuffling reflects forests' sensitivity to climate, even when change feels invisible in a single human lifetime. Despite these shifts, some forests have survived dramatic climate changes before. Their history holds lessons in endurance. During past ice ages, massive glaciers covered large portions of the planet, yet forests did not disappear entirely. Instead, they survived in refugia, protected regions where temperatures remained mild enough for trees to endure. These refuges preserved genetic diversity that later allowed forests to spread again when glaciers retreated. Modern genetic studies reveal these ancient survival patterns, tracing present-day forests back to small, isolated pockets of green. Without these refugees, many tree species would have vanished forever. Forest resilience is often quiet and hidden, relying on patience and protection rather than expansion. Time leaves traces not only in genes, but in stone itself. Some forests have been preserved far beyond life. In several places around the world, entire forests have been turned to stone. Petrified forests form when fallen trees are buried quickly by sediment or volcanic ash, allowing minerals to replace organic tissue over millions of years. The result is fossilized wood that preserves growth rings, bark texture, and cellular detail. These stone forests provide direct evidence of ancient ecosystems, revealing climates and species that no longer exist. Some date back hundreds of millions of years, to times when forests covered much more of the planet. Walking among petrified trunks is like stepping into frozen time, where growth has stopped but memory remains. These deep-time forests remind us that Earth itself has changed dramatically. Nowhere is that more striking than in places that seem lifeless today. Long before it became the frozen continent we know today, Antarctica supported dense forests. Over 200 million years ago, it lay farther north and experienced much warmer climates. Fossilized tree stumps, roots, and pollen discovered beneath ice and rock reveal forests that endured long polar nights and continuous summer daylight. These forests were adapted to extreme seasonal light but far milder temperatures. As continental drift and climate shifts pushed Antarctica southward, forests vanished, replaced by ice. Their remains show how profoundly Earth's systems can change over time, and how forests respond when conditions allow them to exist. Such dramatic shifts highlight the dynamic nature of forests. Even today, new forests are appearing where none existed before. When land is abandoned or protected, forests often begin to reclaim it. In parts of Europe and North America, former farmland has slowly reverted to woodland as trees recolonize fields. Early species stabilize soil, followed by slower-growing trees that build complexity over decades. These recovering forests may differ from ancient ones, but they still capture carbon, support wildlife, and restore water cycles. Regrowth shows that forests are not only vulnerable, but resilient. capable of return when given time and space. Renewal may be slow, but it is persistent. With regeneration in mind, we're ready to explore forests at the edges of the world and the limits of life itself. The oldest known living trees are not found in lush forests, but in environments where survival is slow and difficult. Bristlecone pines growing in the high mountains of the western United States endure freezing temperatures, intense winds, and rocky soils with very little water. These harsh conditions limit competition and pests, allowing the trees to grow extremely slowly. Some individuals are nearly 5,000 years old, making them the oldest living organisms on Earth. Their longevity comes from patience rather than size. Much of a bristlecone's trunk may be dead wood, twisted and worn smooth by centuries of weather, while a narrow strip of living tissue continues to transport nutrients. This partial survival allows the tree to persist even after damage that would kill most others. Each ring in its wood records a year of endurance, not abundance. Standing before one of these trees is like standing beside time itself, alive, breathing, and quietly refusing to hurry. These ancient survivors lead naturally into forests where trees grow not just old, but enormous. From age, we turn to scale. Longevity is not limited to harsh mountain species. In coastal forests of California, giant redwoods and sequoias have lived for over 2 millennia. Their success comes from a different strategy: thick, fire-resistant bark, high moisture environments, and the ability to heal after damage. Fire may scorch their bases, storms may strip branches, but the trees persist, growing steadily through centuries of change. Their roots spread wide and interlock with neighboring trees, creating mutual support that stabilizes entire groves. These long-lived giants witness the rise and fall of human civilizations while continuing their quiet growth. Longevity in forests is not about avoiding disturbance, but about enduring it repeatedly. These trees show that life can be both massive and patient, accumulating time the way others accumulate height. Trees that live this long become historians. Their bodies preserve records of climates long past. Each growth ring inside a tree is a snapshot of the year it formed. In wet, warm years, rings grow wide. In cold or dry years, they remain narrow. By studying these patterns across many trees, scientists can reconstruct climate conditions stretching back thousands of years. Droughts, floods, volcanic eruptions, and even ancient fires leave recognizable signatures in wood. This science, dendrochronology, allows forests to function as natural climate archives, preserving environmental information long before written records existed. Some trees contain more than 1,000 years of climate data within their trunks. Forests, then, are not just living systems, but libraries, quietly storing the memory of Earth's changing atmosphere year after year, ring by ring. Climate records remind us that forests themselves have endured dramatic planetary shifts. Some of the most extreme involved ice. During the Great Ice Ages, massive glaciers covered much of the northern hemisphere, making vast regions inhospitable to trees. Yet forests did not vanish. Instead, they retreated into refuges, areas where geography, ocean influence, or elevation kept conditions mild enough for survival. These refugia preserved tree species through thousands of years of cold. When the ice retreated, forests expanded outward again, recolonizing continents. Modern genetic studies reveal these ancient patterns, showing how today's forests trace back to small, isolated pockets of survival. Without these refugees, much of Earth's forest diversity would have been lost. Resilience, in this case, meant waiting quietly until conditions allowed expansion once more. Some of the strongest evidence of ancient forests lies not in living trees, but in stone. In several regions of the world, forests from deep geological time have been frozen into stone. Petrified forests form when trees are buried quickly by sediment or volcanic ash, allowing minerals to replace organic material over millions of years. The result preserves growth rings, bark textures, and even cellular structure. These fossilized forests reveal what Earth's ecosystems looked like hundreds of millions of years ago, including species that no longer exist. Some date back to eras when forests covered nearly all land and oxygen levels were much higher than today. Walking among petrified trunks is like moving through a paused moment in planetary history, growth arrested, but memory intact. These fossil forests reveal climates far warmer than today's polar regions. Nowhere is that contrast clearer than Antarctica. Long before it became a frozen desert, Antarctica supported thriving forests. Over 200 million years ago, the continent sat farther north and experienced much warmer climates. Fossilized tree stumps, roots, pollen and leaves discovered beneath ice and rock layers reveal forests adapted to long periods of darkness in winter and constant daylight in summer. These trees survived extreme seasonal light, but not extreme cold. As continental drift pushed Antarctica towards the South Pole and global temperatures fell, forests disappeared, replaced by ice sheets. These discoveries show how profoundly Earth's geography and climate shape where forests can exist, and how dramatically they can vanish when conditions change. Geology reshapes forests not only by moving continents, but by reshaping rivers. One forest was transformed by such a change. Millions of years ago, the Amazon River flowed westward toward the Pacific Ocean. As the Andes Mountains rose, they blocked this path, gradually forcing the river to reverse direction and flow east into the Atlantic. This geological shift reshaped the entire Amazon basin. Vast wetlands formed, sediments redistributed, and new habitats emerged. The change helped create the nutrient-rich soils that support today's extraordinary biodiversity. Without this reversal, the Amazon rainforest as we know it would not exist. Forests, rivers, and mountains are not independent systems. They evolve together, each shaping the other across deep time. Some forests are still shaped by water today, not by permanent rivers, but by seasonal floods. In parts of the Amazon and Southeast Asia, forests flood seasonally as rivers rise. These flooded forests, known as varzea or swamp forests, remain underwater for months at a time. Trees here are specially adapted, with hollow stems, air-filled tissues, and roots that can tolerate long periods of submersion. During floods, fish swim among the trunks, feeding on fruits and dispersing seeds. When waters recede, nutrients are left behind, fueling rapid growth. These forests are neither fully land nor fully aquatic. They exist in a shifting rhythm, adapting to cycles that would destroy most terrestrial ecosystems. Other forests grow at the edge of land and sea, balancing salt, tides, and roots in motion. Mangrove forests grow where land meets ocean in tropical and subtropical regions. Their tangled roots anchor trees in shifting mud, reducing erosion and buffering coastlines from storms and waves. These roots also trap sediments, building land over time. Mangroves are among the most carbon-rich forests on Earth, storing large amounts of carbon in waterlogged soils where decomposition is slow. This blue carbon remains locked away for centuries if undisturbed. Mangroves support fish nurseries, protect coastal communities, and stabilize shorelines, all while quietly managing carbon and water at the ocean's edge. At the margins of land and sea, forests thrive. Some even exist beyond land entirely. Though they lack wood and bark, kelp forests function much like terrestrial forests beneath the sea. Anchored to the ocean floor, giant kelp can grow over 100 feet tall, forming dense underwater canopies. These forests provide shelter, food, and breeding grounds for fish, invertebrates, and marine mammals. Like land forests, kelp forests slow currents, absorb energy from waves, and create complex habitats. They are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth, converting sunlight into living matter at remarkable rates. Though storms can tear them apart, kelp forests regrow quickly when conditions allow. They remind us that the idea of a forest is not limited to land. Wherever structure, light, and life combine, forest-like systems can emerge. With forests spanning land, sea, and deep time, we're ready to move toward the final stretch, where fragility, protection, and quiet hope come into focus. In several parts of the world, forests grow on the slopes of active and dormant volcanoes, where danger and fertility exist side by side. Volcanic eruptions release minerals like phosphorus, potassium, and iron into the soil, creating some of the richest growing conditions on Earth once the land cools. After eruptions, pioneer plants are often the first to colonize bare lava flows, rooting into cracks and beginning the slow process of soil formation. Over time, shrubs and trees follow, rebuilding forests on ground that was once molten. These forests live with constant risk: ashfall, landslides, lava, but also benefit from renewed fertility. Animals adapt as well, returning as vegetation spreads. Volcanic forests demonstrate one of nature's recurring patterns, destruction creating the conditions for renewal. Life does not avoid instability. It often grows directly from it, turning catastrophe into opportunity over generations. This cycle of loss and return prepares us to look at forests shaped not by fire or lava, but by human presence. When farms, villages, or industrial sites are abandoned, forests frequently begin to return. Seeds carried by wind, birds, and mammals colonize open ground, starting with fast-growing species that tolerate sunlight and poor soil. These early trees stabilize the land, reduce erosion, and create shade, allowing slower-growing species to establish later. Over decades, a young woodland may develop into a mature forest, gradually rebuilding soil, water cycles, and wildlife communities. In parts of Europe and North America, forests now cover more land than they did a century ago due to rural abandonment and reforestation. While these regrown forests differ from ancient ones, they still provide vital ecological services. Forests are persistent. When pressure eases, they quietly return, filling spaces left behind. Yet, not all forests recover easily. Some face limits beyond which renewal becomes difficult. A forest does not need to be completely cleared to lose its strength. When forests are broken into smaller patches by roads, farms, or cities, fragmentation disrupts the system. Edges dry out more quickly, temperatures fluctuate, and invasive species move in. Animals that require large, continuous habitats may disappear even though trees remain standing. Pollination and seed dispersal become less reliable, and genetic diversity declines. Over time, fragmented forests may thin, lose species, and become more vulnerable to fire and disease. Forest health depends not just on tree count, but on continuity. A connected forest behaves differently than scattered fragments, even if the total area appears similar. Understanding fragmentation helps explain why some forests approach critical thresholds. Forests can absorb stress up to a point. Beyond certain thresholds, too much deforestation, prolonged drought, or rising temperatures, forests may shift into entirely different ecosystems. Scientists warn that parts of the Amazon, for example, risk transitioning towards savanna-like conditions if rainfall declines too far. Such changes can be difficult or impossible to reverse on human timescales. Once feedback loops break, less forest leads to less rain, which leads to further forest loss. These tipping points highlight that resilience has limits. Forests endure when balances are maintained, but unravel when pushed too far too quickly. Recognizing these limits shifts attention toward protection and restoration. Protecting large, continuous forest areas is one of the most effective ways to preserve biodiversity and climate stability. Intact forests regulate water, store carbon, and support complex food webs more reliably than fragmented ones. Indigenous managed forests, in particular, often show lower deforestation rates, reflecting long-standing knowledge of balance and stewardship. Conservation is not just about freezing forests in time, but allowing natural cycles, growth, decay, disturbance, to continue without collapse. When forests are given space and continuity, they tend to maintain themselves. Protection alone, however, is not always enough. Some forests need help to return. In areas where forests have been heavily degraded, active restoration can help restart ecological processes. Planting native species, reconnecting fragmented patches, restoring wetlands, and protecting soil can dramatically speed recovery. Even small interventions, like allowing fallen wood to remain or limiting grazing, can have large effects. Restoration works best when it supports natural regeneration rather than replacing it. Over time, restored forests begin to capture carbon, regulate water, and attract wildlife again. Recovery may take decades, but momentum builds slowly, just as forests themselves do. As forests recover, they continue offering something beyond climate and biodiversity. Spending time in forests has measurable effects on the human body. Studies show reduced stress hormones, lower blood pressure, improved immune function, and calmer heart rates after forest exposure. Compounds released by trees, often called phytoncides, may contribute to these effects when inhaled. Forest air is typically cleaner, cooler, and richer in humidity than urban air. These physiological responses suggest that humans remain biologically attuned to forest environments. Our bodies respond not just emotionally, but chemically. Mental health benefits follow closely behind physical ones. Forests reduce mental fatigue, improve mood, and support attention recovery. Natural patterns, irregular light, layered sound, and gentle movement allow the brain to relax without disengaging. Unlike urban environments that demand constant focus, forests offer soft fascination, where attention drifts without effort. This effect explains why forest exposure is used therapeutically in many cultures. Calm is not imposed, it emerges naturally from the environment itself. These benefits point to a deeper relationship between forests and human history. For hundreds of thousands of years, human ancestors lived in and around forests. These environments shaped our senses, movement, and social behavior. Shelter, food, medicine, and materials all came from trees and forest ecosystems. Even today, our responses to forest light, sound, and scent reflect that deep history. Forests are not unfamiliar places. They are ancestral landscapes embedded in human biology and memory. This long connection gives forests a role beyond survival. Forests can burn, wither, or vanish within a single generation. Yet they can also persist for thousands of years, surviving ice ages, eruptions, and planetary change. This balance between vulnerability and resilience defines forests more than any single trait. They remind us that life is delicate in the moment, but powerful across time. Forests do not rush. They endure, adapt, and return when given the chance. In their quiet persistence, they offer one of Earth's clearest lessons about survival. As our journey through the forests of Earth comes to rest, there's nothing left to hold on to and nothing to remember. From hidden fungal webs beneath the soil to towering canopies shaping the sky, forests move at a pace that invites us to slow down as well. Let that steadiness linger. Let your breathing soften. Tomorrow can wait. Tonight belongs to stillness, and somewhere forests continue their quiet work, holding the world together as you drift gently into sleep. Good night.